today I had the opportunity to go and play football with one of my friends. And, I usually go on Fridays, we usually play football and we hang out after, like we play some GTA or some shit. But we always end up staying up until like 3 a.m. in the fucking morning. And it completely destroys my circadian rhythm. It just destroys the next day and it puts me into a negative spiral. So each and every single time I come home, I need to spend 1 or 2 days recovering from that. You know what I'm saying? And I feel like there's a lot of these situations where there's something that would be fun and it would be enjoyable. And, you convince yourself that you only live once, so you might as well go and do it. But like the next 2 or 3 days are going to be completely fucked because, you have to spend all of this time recovering and really just getting back into the motion, you know what I'm saying? Getting back the momentum that you pretty much lost throughout the weekend or some shit. This is why I never really like to go to parties and shit, because, I just don't want to get drunk. Like, I've had that period in my life, I feel like it passed very quickly, where I got drunk 1 or 2 times and it was like, I just don't like alcohol, you know what I'm saying? Anyone who says they like alcohol is a fucking liar. No one truly likes alcohol. No one likes to drink it as much as they say they do. And this is a very big learning lesson. This is like an esoteric kind of discussion. It's like, why do people drink? It's not because they like the drink itself, you know what I'm saying? Like, no one likes the smell and the taste of vodka. No one likes the smell and the taste of a fucking Long Island. Funny story, when I was going through this phase in my life, I went to a bar with one of my friends and we were talking with these 2 bitches, and one of them wanted us to order like a Long Island, and that's the first time I've ever heard about that shit. So I went to the bartender, I got the fucking Long Island, and I just took a sip, and it was the most disgusting, most vile shit that I've ever tasted in my life, bro. It was pure alcohol. It was like vodka, rum. It was just a bunch of bullshit altogether, and it was fucking disgusting, bro. I nearly threw up after just 1 sip of that shit. And there's bitches who drink like 2 or 3 of these. You know what I'm saying? So it's crazy. But anyway. Yeah, so we went to the bar with my friend, and, that night I remember like getting really drunk and shit. And I've had a few of these experiences where they really kind of influenced how I look at that shit now, where I just don't want to get drunk. And in fact, it's not that I don't want to get drunk, it's just that I don't want to go through the road of getting drunk, you know what I'm saying? So taking all of those shots, drinking all that beer, drinking all of that garbage, poisoning your fucking body, it's good once or twice. But the more you convince yourself that, oh, you only live once, and, I'm just going to drink this once, or I'm just going to do it this weekend, or if I just do it once a week, then it's good for me. Like, all of this shit that you convince yourself with, all of the excuses that you kind of tell yourself, and then you don't even realize it, but you're drinking every single weekend. You're going to these fucking parties. So, yeah, that's where I kind of like drew the limit. Once I really got drunk, I threw up, I was very hungover, and yeah, just from that point on, I never wanted to really do it again. But the esoteric lesson here is that we don't want to drink for the sake of drinking. Like, we don't drink the vodka for the sake of drinking it, you know what I'm saying? We drink it for the feeling that we get afterwards. And that goes with every bad habit. You don't do the bad habit because you're addicted to that bad habit. You're addicted to the feeling that results from you doing the bullshit that you do. All of the degenerate shit you do. For example, when you go to parties and you get blackout drunk, you're not addicted to partying. You're just addicted to that environment. You're addicted to, the stimulations and the emotions that go through you when you're in that party scene. So if you can sort of replicate those emotions without going through all of that negative bullshit and without poisoning your body, then I think that's the best way to go about it, you know what I'm saying? And I'm not saying that you can't have like 1 or 2 drinks. You know, live your life. You only have one life at the end of the day. But you have to decide sometimes which is more important, your overall health and the fact that, you know, if you go and do the bullshit that you're going to go do, then you fully have to embrace and accept the fact that, yeah, for the next 2 or 3 days, I'm going to be out of fucking commission. I'm not going to get any progress. I'm not going to be able to work towards my goals. And if you keep on doing that over and over again, while you may not realize, you're just stacking up the losses. You know what I'm saying? Like, you're just losing momentum every single time. If you build up a whole week of just doing good shit, like really just going to the gym, grinding it out, and you just have an amazing week in general. Like, you just do all of the habits that you need to be doing and shit. You speak to a bunch of people, you're socializing, and then you go out on the weekend, you get blackout drunk, or you do some degenerate fucking shit, and you know what I'm saying, like, you lose all of the good shit that you've done for that week. You lose all of that momentum. And then the next week, you go and do the same shit, you know what I'm saying? Like, you rebuild that momentum, and then the weekend comes and you're back to that negative spiral. So if you just keep on reinforcing this cycle over and over again, it becomes ingrained in your subconscious mind that you're just not a man of momentum. You know, you're not a man of consistency. Well, you are consistent with fucking partying, you know what I'm saying? But that's kind of not what you want to do it for. And, you know, when you're successful, when you're really in your desired state of mind and consciousness, you will have all the time in the world to party. But the most successful people always say, the reason that they don't party, the reason why they don't feel drawn towards all of this degenerate bullshit is because the life that they have built for themselves, you know, each and every single day of their life is like a fucking party. You know, the fact that they make so much money, the fact that they live this luxury lifestyle every single day is so fun, it's so enjoyable that they don't require the stimulation that partying and drugs and alcohol gives them. You know what I'm saying? So that's kind of what I want as well in my life. I don't want these substances. I don't want to numb myself with these, you know, cheap pleasures. I want to build up long-term gratification. You know, it's like when you go to the gym at first, when you're just getting into it, it doesn't feel good. And even while you're at the gym, pushing till failure, pushing till your absolute fucking limit, it hurts, you know what I'm saying? But once you do it, you get the satisfaction, you get like those dopamine releases in your mind. So each and every single time you come home from the gym, you look at yourself in the mirror and you see your pumped up body, you know, your fucking veins are popping, you look muscular and shit. You take a picture of yourself, you take that motherfucking picture with pride for yourself. You take it because you feel good about the work that you've just done. But when you do a bad habit, it's the exact opposite of that. You know, you feel very, very good and joyful while you're doing that shit, but then when it ends, you know, like you fall below baseline and you get this really bad feeling of guilt and shame, and that feeling that you shouldn't have done it, you know what I'm saying? That's the worst feeling, when you regret doing something. So to go back to the original topic at hand, I had the opportunity to go and play football with my friend today, and once again, that's like the best part of my Fridays. Like, when I have to endure fucking school for 5 days learning about bullshit that I'm never gonna use, you know, I look forward to that 1 day, 1 or 2 days where I can really just let go and relax. And usually that's Friday, because I just go up to my friend, you know, we play some football. There's like this, you know, there's a team of people that kind of just get together and play football on Fridays, and we have a good time. But then after that, when I stay there and when I go and have a sleepover there, most of the time we end up staying up until like 3 or 4 a.m. just playing GTA. You know, we completely fuck up our entire system. And when I'm there, I kind of eat unhealthy as well. Like, I drink unhealthy shit. And once again, you know, this is the mentality that so many people have. And even my parents have told me this shit, where it's like, yeah, just go and have one day of fun. You know, you can relax for one day. It's not going to kill you. And that's how everyone thinks, you know. They say to try the cigarette. They say, you know, just try this drug. Like, it's not going to kill you one time. Motherfucker, it's not about that one time. You know what I'm saying? It's about what you're reinforcing, what you are allowing into your body, what you are allowing to become your identity. Because, you know, doing it one time per week, it may not seem like a big deal, but once again, if you do it consistently, it's going to become a fucking habit. So my body has literally gotten used to the fact that on Fridays, I stay up until 4 a.m., you know, doing that degenerate shit, playing GTA or whatever. And, you know, even when I don't go there on Fridays, now I feel it at home. You know, my body has gotten adapted to the fact that on Fridays, by the end of the week, for some reason, I just have higher energy levels at night, because it's preparing me for the fact that I am going to have a late nighter. So today I rejected that. I was really tempted to go because, once again, I do actually enjoy being there and shit, but sometimes you have to sacrifice pleasure for the long-term gains. And instead of going, I actually did everything that I meant to. Like, I'm recording this video right now. I did all of this shit on my to-do list. That's on my door frame. I don't know if you can see it from here. Let me just... You see that piece of paper? That's like my to-do list or whatever. And if I had just went, then I would have skipped all of that bullshit there. And I would have, you know, regretted that deeply. As much as I like to talk about the fact that I'm not a perfectionist and shit, like, I've gone over my perfectionism, I can't help but being a perfectionist. You know, I want everything to be perfect. So when I don't complete everything on my to-do list, when things just don't go my way, when things are out of my control, I feel this very, very bad feeling. You know what I'm saying? A very big feeling of regret and shit. And that's why I don't want. So if this is happening to you, just like it's happening to me every Friday, and, you know, you feel left out, you have this fear of missing out, or whatever they fucking call it, because people are going to parties, they're enjoying their lives, especially as teenagers. What you have to realize about these motherfuckers is that most of them will end up being an average man or an average woman, doing an average job, doing something that they fucking hate. And you're gonna be the person that didn't go partying, but instead you worked on your goals, you worked on your shit, you know what I'm saying? Like, you worked on your craft while everyone else was going out and doing some degenerate shit. And when you're at the top, when you're great, and when you have accomplished everything that you wanted, you have all the fucking time in the world to party. I always look at this quote. It's like, it says, if you spend 5 years partying now in your teenage years, then you're going to end up sacrificing like 40 or 45 years working a job that you hate. But if you sacrifice these parties, if you sacrifice the degeneracy, if you sacrifice all of the shit that doesn't align with where you're trying to go, and instead you just lock in and you just focus for those 4 to 5 years when everyone else is doing all of that bullshit, then you will end up having a life of partying. You'll end up having a life full of enjoyable things, you know what I'm saying? So yeah, that's the moral of the story here. Sacrifice these years and be able to party whenever you want. Peace, bro.